Then
Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Janaha Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Janaha.
Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and the date is Saturday, July 21, 1883. And Master Maharaj's problem of not believing sanskaras and all that Thakur dealt with in various indirect ways. And then now, Ramlal sang in praise of Kali, the Divine Mother. And we have seen that Bengali first song is missed in English. So the second song. I'll read in English itself. Thy name I have heard, O consort of Shiva, is the destroyer of our fear. So, Bhaya Harini. And so on thee I cast my burden. Save me, O kindly mother. Out of thy womb the world is born, and thou it is that dost pervade it. So, destroyer of fear. So, she is the Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya Karta. Over here, Srishti and Sthiti are mentioned. Art thou Kali? Art thou Radha? Who can ever rightly say? So he is not, but he says in the beginning, destroyer of Shiva, no, consort of Shiva. So he is addressing Kali, but doubting or half believing that she herself was Radha. So she is the power of destruction as well as love. Who can ever rightly say? So that is his belief that she is not only the destroyer or consort of Shiva, but she is power of love and consort of Krishna. Mother, in every living creature, thou dost have thy dwelling place. Antaryamini. First he said, pervading the universe, and now living in all beings as Kundalini. So that Kundalini was in the first song, Kundalini is again in the second song. As Kundalini, thou dost live in the lotus of the Muladhara. Do I explain once what is? Actually, the Kundalini they are the bundle of our past sanskara. For that perhaps it has brought that much as past sanskara. Past sanskaras of life after life from the beginning of time They are not lost. They have become a bundled seed form. And in our person, the center of the backbone, there is a tube, thread-like tube in the center called Sushumna. And one day, full class I explained this. At the last point of our spinal cord, that it is described both as lotus and as wheel. You are not there. That is not a gross thing, we cannot see it. But the yogis or the tantrics, they do see it. So it is there. Because thread-like tube. And in that, how you imagine there be lotus or a wheel? So it is the subtler form. But definitely perceived by the yogis. They have described if it is a lotus, how many petals are there. And similarly, when we say Sahasra Ara Chakra,
Aram spoke.
Aram is spokes. So the petals of lotus are the spokes of the wheel. And they see the color also different in different lotuses. So it is a perceptible fact in the subtler level. So in the Mooladhara, lotus of Mooladhara, Mooladhara is at the last point of the spinal cord. Mool Adhar. Above it lies the Swadhisthana. That is at the root of the genetic organ. Where the four-petaled lotus blooms. Mooladhara, what lotus is not described. Swadhisthana, four-petaled lotus. There also thou dost make thy home, O mystic power of Kundalini. That Kundalini is identified with mother power. Now this only the yogis or the tantrics can tell, but when this rises and reaches the Sahasrara, it becomes united or identified with Shiva. So it is sort of Shiva Shakti. And the yogis say that originally it was with Shiva, and through the Sushumna it has got down, and now it is sleeping there. So that is the description. How our, it's a big thing, no? Our past sanskaras. At the navel is Manipura, the blue 10-petal lotus flower. So only the Mooladhara is not described. The Mooladhara is not described. Swadhisthana describes, and Manipura also it describes.
They have one like Sharadal Vajrasane Bashama Aponi. After this Chaturdala, one line in Bengali is there. Chaturdale Thako Tumi Kundalini.
Bhavadhara Bhayahara Nam Shunechi Tomar Taite Bar Diechi Bhar Taro Taro Na Taro Taro Na Taro Ma. Taro Taro Ma hai कि ना है?
Na.
So that has a different shade. Save me, oh kindly mother. No, it has a different shade. Save me or don't save me, I have put my vote on you. तुम्ही मां ब्रह्मांडधारी, ब्रह्मांड व्यापी के जाने तुम्हारे, तुम्ही काली की राधिके, घटे घटे तुम्ही घटे आचो गो जननी, मूलाधार कमले थाको मा कुल कुंडलिनी, और को है तर उद्वते आचे मागो नाम स्वादिष्टान. मैंने मूलाधार का डिस्क्रिप्शन कुछ नहीं है. चतुर्दल पद में तथा अचो अधिष्ठान, स्वाधिष्ठान में अधिष्ठान. चतुर्दले थाको तुम्हें कुल कुंडलिनी, उसी को दोबारा. षटदल वज्रासने बसम अपनी. मैंने कहा गया स्वाधिष्ठान के ऊपर मणिपुर, मणिपुर इसमें अच्छे. षटदल वज्रासने बसम अपनी. वज्रासन मालूम है तुमको?
वीरासन भी कहते हैं.
वीरासन और वज्रासन एक ही है क्या? मुझे डाउट है. देखो पैर मोड़े हमने, ठीक है.
घुटने से तो एक ही है, उसके बाद कुछ घुटने से तो एक ही होता है.
नीचे जो पंजा रखते हैं और उसका जो ऊपर का उस पर बैठते हैं वनौदी आसन में. ठीक है, हो सकते हैं. Anyway, पर ये वज्रन में तो ध्यान करने पड़ता है आदमी. तो तुम ही उससे बैठती हो और तुम ही ध्यान करती हो, ऐसा कहना है कि उसको. वज्रासन पिक्चर लो, तो हाँ डिफरेंस है. नहीं बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ऐसा कर दिया, उसके ऊपर बैठे.
वज्रासन.
हाँ वज्रासन ठीक है. मैं वीरासन से क्या मतलब है? वज्रासन ये है. ओके. नहीं यहाँ सवाल है, कल सोच के मेरे सामने. And in Vajrasana 6 petals. ये बोलो ना, ये क्या हो गया? In the 4 petals of that flower and in Vajrasana 6 petals, अगर कुछ कनेक्शन लगाना है तो जो मूलाधार छूटा है उसके एक और इसके एक.
मूलाधार का कितना पेटल लोटस है वो देखेंगे तो समझ में.
हमने एक पूरा आर्टिकल लिया था एक दिन, पूरा.
अच्छा, ये गॉस्पेल क्लास में?
इसमें गॉस्पेल के लिए नहीं, ऐसे ही.
अच्छा.
मैंने उसमें पूरे 6 चक्रों का पूरा वर्णन था. Now let us have 6 lotuses. Picture और पिक्चर ही दिए. लोटस पोज flower. क्या है कि कुंडलिनी लिखता तो अच्छा होता है, हाँ?
मूलाधार
नहीं, six lotuses of कुंडलिनी, हाँ? हाँ, लो विकिपीडिया में कुंडलिनी लो पूरा, हाँ? हाँ. In Hinduism, Kundalini, coiled snake, is a form of divine feminine energy believed to be located at the base of the spine. These sanskaras have energy of rising again. They are not only dead sanskara, but rising again power. Located at the base of the spine in the Muladhara, it is an important concept believed to be a force of power. Spiritually, Kundalini is associated with Parvati, Adi Parashakti. Kundalini, Shaktism, etymology, description. बेकार आ गया कुंडलिनी फिर से देना पड़ेगा मुझे मैं तो 6 लोटस ऑफ कुंडलिनी माना था हाँ 7 चक्रास ऑफ कुंडलिनी योगा हाँ नवेंबर हाँ इसमें सारे दिए हाँ मूलाधार is situated at the base of the spine. It is considered the groundwork of the energy body. Yogic systems stress the importance of stabilizing this chakra. Many describe it as the subtle red bindu or drop because when activated it exudes a red aura. It is linked with the earth element. Petal से नहीं दिए
यहाँ पे मूलाधार को चतुर्दल पद दिखा रहे हैं यहाँ पे
क्या मैं नहीं पा रहा हूँ ना चक्र में नहीं देंगे ना लोटस होगा तो देंगे ना इसमें राग वाला पूरा है चक्रस का
राग
म्यूजिक के राग थे पहले सॉन्ग में
हाँ
वो सारे हैं इसमें
अच्छा
अब मैंने 6 लोटसेस और कुंडलिनी जो मांगा है दिखाया है सारे पिक्चर दिया है पर डिस्क्राइब नहीं किया चक्र लोटस करना पड़ता है हाँ ये पेटल्स में 4 petals Muladhara. हो गया?
यहाँ पे
वो सीक्वेंस उल्टा होता है थोड़ा डिस्क्रिप्शन का. Okay, now we have arrived at the correct position. Muladhara chakra is the basal region of the vertebral column at the mid spot between the anus and penis. Last of spinal cord. In meditation, this chakra is visualized as a red lotus. Chakra visualized as a red lotus possessing 4 petals. Red, 4. This is the resting place of the Kundalini Shakti, which lies here as a snake, having 3.5 coils. This chakra is the symbol of earth element. Okay? Swadhisthana. This chakra is located in the vertebral column just opposite to the pineal region. In meditation, this chakra is visualized as a vermilion colored sindoor, lotus having 6 petals. Manipur chakra, let us completely read this. Situated just opposite to the navel region, the 10th petal lotus is of blue color. It is triangular in shape and it represents the fire element. Inside the vertebral column is just opposite to the cardiac heart. This red color again possesses 12 petals and it represents the air element. Vishuddha chakra, located opposite the throat region, this lotus of smoky color possesses 16 petals and represents the sky element. In Brahma Nadi, enclosed by vertebral column, the chakra is located just opposite the mid spot between the 2 eyebrows. The white lotus has only 2 petals. द्विदल बोलते हैं इसको ना. Beyond the 6, at the upper termination of the spinal cord, is the 1,000-petal lotus, the abode of Lord Shiva. इसका ही खाली कलर नहीं मिला. व्हाइट है इसका, ये गोल्डन है. ठीक है. ओके. So we have seen now 4, 6,
10.
8,
4, 6, 10, 12.
4, 6, 10, 12,
2. No, 4, 6, 10 to
4,
16.
6, 10, 12,
16.
16,
2.
2, 1,000. Okay. Okay. चलो. Through the pathway of Sushumna, thou dost ascend and enter there, that lotus. O lady of the lotuses, in lotus blossoms thou dost dwell. Beyond them lies the lake of nectar in the region of the heart, where the 12-petal lotus flower enchants the eye with scarlet flame. When thou dost open it, O mother, touching it with thy lotus feet, the age-long darkness of the heart instantly scatters at thy sight. Light is seen there. Above in the throat, in the 16-petal lotus flower of smoky hue, within the petals of this flower there lies concealed a subtle space, transcending which one sees at length the universe in space dissolve. Universe dissolves there. And higher yet between the eyebrows blossom the lotus of 2 petals, where the mind of man remains a prisoner and past controlling. From this flower, the mind desires to watch the sportive play of life. Highest of all, within the head, the soul enthralling center is where shines the 1,000-petal lotus, Mahadeva's dwelling place. Having ascended to his throne, O spouse of Shiva, sit beside him. Thou art the primal power, O mother, she whose senses are controlled. The yogis meditate on thee as Uma, great Himalaya's daughter. So Kali, Radha, Uma. Thou who art the flower of Shiva, power of Shiva, put to death my ceaseless cravings. So she puts to death, destroy the universe has not come. Destroyer of fever and now destroyer of my desires. Grant that I never fall again into the ocean of this world. Mother, thou art the primal power, thou the five cosmic principles, पंचतत्व व का एक का नाम भी दिया चक्र पर. Who can ever hope to know thee, who are beyond all principles? अभी beyond आई पहले बार. Only for thy bhaktas' sake thou dost assume the various forms. But when thy devotees' five senses merge in the five elements, Mother, it is thyself alone that he beholds as formless truth. पंच हमारे five senses, they merge in pancha tattvas. That means they do not function as organs. Then formless truth is realized. Okay. दिखने को लंबा सॉन्ग था बट न दिख दे. As Ramlal sang the line above in the throat, in the 16-petal lotus flower of smoky hue, within the petals of this flower, there lies concealed a subtle space, transcending which one sees at length the universe in space dissolve. The master said to him, listen, this is known as the vision of Satchidananda. कहाँ पर है? Throat cross करने के बाद. After we cross the throat and come to the eyebrows, there we see Satchidananda. The formless Brahman, the Kundalini rising above the Vishuddha Chakra enables one to see everything as Akasha. All the elements are dissolved in Akasha. That is one vision. M, yes sir. He has seen it or he has understood it. Master, one attains the absolute by going beyond the universe and its created beings conjured up by Maya. By passing beyond the Nada, one goes into Samadhi. That morning raga. Huh? By repeating Om, one goes beyond the Nada and attains Samadhi. Okay, is that the description? That's something. Others served Sri Ramakrishna with fruits and sweets. The master left for Jadu Malik's house. So first he said, I'm going to others' house. And Master Masha mentioned he was to visit devotees' houses. Now we have to think of Jadu Malik. There is a special thing there. Huh? जदू कहाँ आएगा? जो में आता है क्या? ना यरलव में नहीं, जो में आएगा ना. गौरी माँ, त्रैलोक्य, चुनीलाल, छोटे गोपाल, जय नारायण नहीं, जय में नहीं है वो, यदु मल्लिक है ना. यदु मल्लिक, जदू हम बोल रहे हैं बट जो ओरिजिनल यदु, यदु वंश था ना. So it will be before R. Yatindra, Yadulal Mallik, 1844 to 1894. 1844 to 1894. 50 years. Kolkata, Pathuria Ghat, resident of Pathuria Ghat in Calcutta. Motilal Mallikar, adopted son. Rich, good speaker and devotee. Honorary Magistrate, Kolkata Municipality Chairman, he was named as Mr. Fighting Cook, Fighting Cock. He was a great philanthropist and busy in educational matters. 1883, 21st July, that is the date we are reading now. Sri Ramakrishna had Pathuria Gati Vadite Gya Nitya Sevita Singha Vahini goddess was there. And Sri Ramakrishna has gone into Samadhi. Dakshineshwar Kalivadi, that is important. The south of Dakshineshwar Kali temple and the bank of the Ganges, Yadu Malik had 3-storied house. Here, Mother Mary with that Madam and the child picture was there, and Sri Ramakrishna had seen that. In the drawing hall of this house, Thakur had touched Narendra. He is not giving what I wanted. I will tell myself now. It is not given here. Yadu Malik was a rich man and devotee. Yadu Malik's mother was devoted to Thakur. And she used to think Thakur is her child. And for that, Master visits him. Mainly. But here, I've lost it. Today, Golmaal is happening. Oh, page is gone. Sri Ramakrishna entered the room in Jadu's house where the Divine Mother was worshipped. He stood before the image which had been decorated with flowers, garlands, and sandal paste, and which radiated a heavenly beauty and splendor. Lights were burning before the pedestal. A priest was seated before the image. The master asked one of his companions to offer a rupee in the shrine, according to the Hindu custom. Sri Ramakrishna stood a long time with folded hands before the blissful image. The devotee standing behind him, gradually he went into Samadhi, his body becoming motionless and his eyes fixed. With a long sigh, he came back to the world of the senses and said, still intoxicated with divine fervor, Mother, goodbye.
Ashigo.
Oh. Okay. But he could not leave the place. He remained standing there. Addressing Ramlal, he said, please sing that song, then I shall be all right. So, if some thought or word or song has sent him into samadhi, it is that very song or name can bring him out. Ramlal sang, O Mother, consort of Shiva, thou hast deluded this world. So master came down. Huh? Well, only seeing the master here, the master went to the drawing room with the devotees. Every now and then he said, O Mother, please dwell in my heart. Jadu was sitting in the drawing room with his friends. The master sat down still in an ecstatic mood and sang, O Mother, ever blissful as thou art, do not deprive thy worthless child of bliss. Sadanandamai Kali Nirananda Korona Amar.
This is different.
Huh? Sadanandamai. Nirananda Korona. Finishing the song, only 2 lines are given, but Thakur had sung full song. Finishing the song, he said to Jadu, still in a state of divine fervor, well, sir, what shall I sing? Shall I sing, Mother, am I thine 8-month child? He sang, 8-month child, sometimes the child is born before completing 9 months. And then he is very weak, especially weak. Very lot of tender care has to be taken about him. So that is the mention. Huh? Mother, am I thine 8-month child? Thy red eyes cannot frighten me. My riches are thy lotus feet, which Shiva holds upon his breast. Yet when I seek my heritage, I meet with excuses and delays. He is fighting with mother. A deed of gift I hold in my heart, attested by thy husband Shiva. I shall sue thee, if I must, and with a single point shall win. Devotee's power over Ishta Devata, that is the song. If thou dost oppose me, thou wilt learn what sort of mother-son I am. This bitterly contested suit between the mother and son, what sport it is, says Ramprasad. I shall not cease tormenting thee till thou thyself shalt yield the fight and take me in thine arms at last. So the whole fight is going into mother's arms. So this is what the devotee who loves can force himself upon the mother. That is the purport of the whole song. And that Thakur song. Coming down nearly to a mental state, the master said, I shall take some of the Divine Mother's prasad. Then he ate a little of it. It helped him to come down generally. Jadu Malik was sitting near him with several friends, among whom were a few of his flatterers, because he was a moneyed man and known to be charitable. Master with a smile, and he directly told it. Well, why do you keep these buffoons with you? They are there. And Thakur tells this to Jadu. So Thakur does not want Jadu to associate with these people. Jadu with a smile. Jadu is a strong man. Huh? Suppose they are, won't you redeem them? So, Thakur is God. Why should you not redeem the buffoons also? Master smiling. The water of the Ganges cannot purify a wine jar. Ganges is supposed to purify everything, but not a wine jar. Jadu had promised the master that he would arrange a recital of the Chandi in his house. Some time had elapsed, but he had not yet kept his promise. Master, Well, what about the recital of the Chandi? Thakur tells Yadu to Char. Yadu's mother was a devotee. Yadu, I have been busy with many things. I haven't been able to arrange it. Master, how is that? A man gives his word and doesn't take it back. The words of a man are like the tusks of the elephant. They come out but do not go back. A man must be true in his word. What do you say? Yadu, with a smile, you are right. Master, you are a shrewd man. Bapre. Thakur is hitting him like anything. You are a shrewd man. You do a thing after much calculation. You are like the Brahmin who selects a cow that eats very little, supplies plenty of dung, and gives much milk. All laugh. After a time, he said to Jadu, I now understand your nature. It is half warm and half cold. You are devoted to God and also to the world. The master and his devotees were served by Jadu with sweets and fruit, and then the party left for the home of Khelat Ghosh. So with Yadu, we see master in a taunting, scolding mood. And Yadu has not reacted to that. So Thakur has behaved like his friend. Khelat Ghosh's house was a big mansion, but it looked deserted.
Who is Khelat Ghosh?
Khelat Ghosh's house.
Is it, has he come before? Khelat Ghosh? Is it?
Khelat Ghosh. You let us read here. Khelat Ghosh's house was a big mansion, but it looked deserted. As the master entered the house, he fell into an ecstatic mood. So, something might have been worshipped there, or Khelat must have been a devotee. M. Ramlal and a few other devotees were with him. Their host was Khelat Ghosh's brother-in-law. He was an old man, a Vaishnava. His body was stamped with the name of God, according to the Vaishnava custom. You know this tradition? That is their diksha. Somewhere they do some koroja. By hot something, they write the name of God or something. That is a Vaishnava sect which gives initiation in this way. His body was stamped with the name of God according to the Vaishnava custom, and he carried in his hand a small bag containing his rosary. That is typical of Vaishnava, some of our sadhus also. He had visited the master now and then at Dakshineshwar. But most of the Vaishnavas held narrow religious views. They criticized the Vedantists, and the followers of the Shiva cult, Sri Ramakrishna, soon began to speak. Okay. और खिलात घोष के बारे में जानना है कुछ?
This person is brother-in-law. What you said, brother-in-law.
Khelat.
This person
was not present. Khelat's brother-in-law received the master. That is the meaning.
In Bengali, it is said Tilak Adi Chhap. Tilak Adi Chhap.
That brother-in-law was like that.
Okay.
Chhap and not chhap. Chhap is like embroidery. ये होता है ना आजकल. Tattoo. Yes, it is tattoo. Chhap is a tattoo. And they do that tattoo. Master, it is not good to feel that one's own religion alone is true and all others are false. That was Thakur's mission. God is one only and not two. Different people call on him by different names, some as Allah. So Thakur wants to broaden his vision includes Allah also. Some as Allah, some as God, that is the Christians. And others as Krishna, Shiva and Brahman, all the three Hindus. Brahman, Nirakarvadi, Nirgunvadi. It is like the water in a lake. This beautiful example. Some drink it at one place and call it jal, Hindus. Others at another place and call it pani. Now, in Hindi also, jal also is used and pani also is used. In Marathi, this na becomes murdana and na, pani is used. But in Bengal, the Mohammedans use Urdu language, they call it pani. Urdu language is a Indian creation, mixing Parsi Arabic with Hindi. So there it has become pani. And that is why Thakur is representing Allah, Allah, God's name. And example, water, different religion people, different. So there, Jal, Pani, and still others at a third place and call it water. Hey, is it water then? Because in one place Thakur has called aqua.
It is water.
Now we explain. The Hindus call it jal, the Christians water, and the Mohammedans pani. But it is one and the same thing. Opinions are but paths. But paths. Paths means you have to walk on that. Each religion is only a path leading to God. As rivers come from different directions and ultimately become one in the one ocean. So he is preaching this to the narrow Vaishnava. The truth established in the Vedas, the Puranas and the Tantras is but one, Satchit Ananda. Existence, knowledge, bliss, that is the only thing we can talk about God. And then in different forms. In the Vedas it is called Brahman, in the Puranas it is called Krishna, Rama and so on, because Puranas are different. And in the Tantras it is called Shiva. The one Satchidananda is called Brahman, Krishna and Shiva. The devotees were silent. It has gone into their heart, they cannot come out of it. A Vaishnava devotee, sir, why should one think of God at all? So different names and all that all right. He is a Vaishnava, but he is asking why we should call on him. You understand the questioner and Thakur's reply? Why we should call on God? Two levels are there. The worldly man will not call on God. And the man who has gone beyond will not call on God. And that seems to be his hint, that man who is asking. And so Thakur replies, if a man really has that knowledge, that means he need not call on God. Then he is indeed liberated, though living in the body. Understood? The footnote says, the knowledge that God exists within and without and everywhere, in that case, thinking of God is superfluous. Now, he replies to the question. No. Continue. Not all by means between God. So, two extremes. He has told the higher extreme, now he comes down. They simply talk. Like you, he is asking. The worldly minded have heard from someone that God exists and that everything happens by His will, but it is not their inner belief. So, two extremes he has shown. It may be hitting that Vaishnava man. Do you know what a worldly man's idea of God is like? It is like the children swearing by God when they quarrel. They have heard the word while listening to their elderly aunts quarreling. So they pick up the word without absolutely having no idea what it contains. Like that worldly people's talk is there. Is it possible for all to comprehend God? So he is asking, why should we call on God? This Thakur is hitting him. God has created the good and the bad, the devoted and the impious, the faithful and the skeptical. The wonders that we see all exist in His creation. In one place there is more manifestation of power, in another less. The sun's light is better reflected by water than by earth, and still better by a mirror. Again, there are different levels among the devotees of God, superior, mediocre, and inferior. All this has been described in the Gita. So, in answer to the question why one should call on God, Thakur is telling all this. Vaishnava, true, sir. Gita, master. The inferior devotee says God exists, but he is very far off, up there in heaven. The mediocre devotee, that is the ordinary man, inferior devotee. Whenever you talk about God, he shows finger. The mediocre devotee says God exists in all beings as life and consciousness. The superior devotee says it is God Himself who has become everything. Lives in is one thing, and He Himself is all, is superior. Whatever I see is only a form of God. It is He alone who has become Maya, the universe, and all living beings. Nothing exists but God. So, three levels of devotee. God lives in all beings, is mediocre. And God Himself is all, is superior. Vaishnava, does anyone ever attain that state of mind, that superior? It is not in their range and range, their range of thinking. They are master formal, master. One cannot attain it unless one has seen God. So it is a matter of direct realization. But there are signs that a man has had the vision of God. So it is realized by. There are signs like that. Prakashyate copy patre. A man who has seen God sometimes behaves like a madman. Sometimes I wrongly read. A man who has seen God sometimes behaves like a madman. He has not seen God sometimes. A man who has seen God sometimes behaves like a madman. He laughs, weeps, dances, and sings. Sometimes he behaves like a child 5 years old, guileless, generous, without vanity, unattached to anything, not under the control of any of the gunas, always blissful. So that is the main thing. Sometimes he behaves like a gaul. He doesn't differentiate between things pure and things impure. He sees no difference between things clean and things unclean. And sometimes he is like an inert thing, jada, staring vacantly. He cannot do any work. He cannot strive for anything. So in the question where one can realize at all, Thakur says yes. And he describes that signs. Was the master making a veiled reference to his own states of mind? The master has remarked. But Thakur wants to assert, yes, there are people like that. Master, to the Vaishnava devotee, the feeling of thee and thine is the outcome of knowledge. I and mine comes from ignorance. So again, devotees, level of devotees, somebody has realized all this Thakur is still. The feeling of thee and thine is the outcome of knowledge. I and mine comes from ignorance. Knowledge makes one feel, oh God, thou art the doer and I am the instrument. So this the Advaita Vedantis say only when one is lost in God, then only. And Thakur has again and again told, if we know God is the doer, then one is liberated. We have discussed this point long. And Thakur calls all this knowledge. God is the doer is knowledge. O God, to thee belongs all body, mind, house, family, living beings and the universe. All these are thine, nothing belongs to me. There is a song, perhaps by Kabir. And the Hindi speaking sannyasis, when they gather, they sang this song. Hindi. मेरा मुझ में कुछ नहीं, जो कुछ है सो तोर, तेरा तुझको सौंपते क्या लागत है मोर. There is nothing of mine in me, all is yours. So giving all to you, what does it cost me? It is not at all mine. An ignorant person says, oh, God is there, very far off. The man of knowledge knows that God is right here, very near, in the heart, that he has assumed all forms and dwells in all hearts as their inner control. I think in a very short, Thakur has told everything about God and everything about levels of man. And so-called believers, real believers, superior believers, and his doubt that can one realize is positively told. I don't think Thakur is talking about heresy. Because, you see, in Narad Bhakti Sutra, he gives a real definition of bhakti. The doubt comes, same. Can there be somebody like this? Now he gives the example of a gopis afterwards. Otherwise, gopis become the only example. So he says, Asti evam evam. There are people like this. And then he says, Yatha Vraja Gopika. So understand, reading, Swami Vivekananda said, reading different scriptures helps us to understand other scriptures. So this reference is not to Thakur. This reference is that people do exist in answer to that question. So, Master says doubt about sanskaras and all that are gone, and we have got these last few paras have told us everything about God and everything about the level of man. Okay. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Viridhitam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimad-Atatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.